Some chic, vintage-inspired spring decor is on the menu today. Welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. I'm joining my friend IndieAnnie Jones for Flower Palooza, and I'm in the mood for a little chic art deco today. Let's get into it. I'm starting with these ready-to-go hard canvases, 2 of them, and some script print scrapbook paper. I flipped my paper over and traced the canvas onto it, and now I'm going to cut it out. I'll do it twice because I'm making 2 separate canvases. I'm going to Mod Podge the scrapbook paper to the canvas, and I'm going to do this by first applying the Mod Podge to the canvas and then letting them dry. Now, my friend Lisa from Our Grey House told me that this is how she decoupages, so I thought I'd give it a try. As per Lisa's suggestion, I'm going to put my scrapbook paper on top of my canvas, cover it with parchment paper, and with my iron on the lowest setting, I'm going to just iron the sheet right on. And hopefully, this works well for me. We'll see. Ooh, yes, that worked. Yay, thanks Lisa. I'll link her channel in the description box too. With my silhouette, I cut out a vinyl image of flowers. I'll be using these to do a reverse stencil. So I'm going to apply my vinyl right over top of my canvases. Now, you may know I tend to struggle with applying vinyl to just about any surface really. This was no exception, so I will spare you the painful application. But of course I did get it done. Now I'm going to use a cosmetic sponge to apply a layer of Mod Podge over top of the vinyl. This will ensure that I have crisp lines when I pull up the vinyl from the canvas. Now that the Mod Podge is dry, I'll apply a coat of black acrylic paint over top of my entire canvas. I usually apply the paint over the vinyl first, just to make sure that I get all of those edges, and then I do the rest of the canvas, or whatever surface I'm working on. Once the paint is dry, I very gingerly and gently remove the vinyl. This part can sometimes be a wee bit challenging because it can be tough to see where the vinyl starts and ends. You know what I mean? It really is just so satisfying though when you reveal the shape underneath. Let's do a wee bit of a close-up here so that you can see the script on the paper. Can you see that? And now our second canvas. Wee. I love the look of a print under a print. You know what I mean? Now to add a little aging and distressing with my JoSonja Fruitwood stain. Once again, I start over top of my image with the stain, and then I'm going to work my way out to cover the entire canvas. So I just brush on my stain and then wipe it back until I'm happy with the color. I love both the richness and the aging that this stain brings to the piece, especially because these are Art Deco floral images. I just think they need that extra vintagey goodness. To add even more aging, I'm going to add some Jolie black wax, and I'm just going to add it lightly here and there, again applying it and wiping it back until I'm happy with the color. And I'm focusing on my image first. And once I'm happy with it, I'll spray both pieces with a coat of clear matte sealer. For my second DIY, I'm going to create a palette from some scrap wood, which I've cut down to 12 inches, and then I have 2 longer pieces of 1x2 that I cut to 18 inches to attach them to. I've decided how I'm going to arrange them, and now I'll paint all of the 12-inch pieces very loosely with a coat of Americana buttermilk. I'm only going to paint the front of the slats with the buttermilk because we'll take care of the rest later. So like I said, I'm doing a very loose coat here because for the most part that's going to get covered. We're not going to see a whole lot of it. I used some painter's tape to keep my boards together. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'll add my vinyl stencil to the front. The painter's tape just keeps the boards from shifting on me. And again, it's time to struggle with the vinyl application. I guess I just didn't fuzz my transfer tape enough before I added the vinyl. It was a new piece. Seems to happen to me a lot. Yeah, it just took a while, so once again, we'll jump ahead. I just want to show you that I used an older piece of transfer tape here, and that worked much better. But again, we'll jump ahead. I used an X-Acto knife to slice where the vinyl crosses over the boards. And once more, I'll pounce over my vinyl with some Mod Podge using a cosmetic sponge. I almost forgot my little floral pieces, so I added those, and now I'm going to pounce those with Mod Podge as well. I'll apply my top coat of black paint, again starting with the vinyl to make sure that I get that well coated, and then I'll work my way out just like before. I'm only applying one coat of black paint. I don't really think a second is necessary because we're going to sand this down and distress it. Now that that top layer is dry, I'm going to remove my boards from the painter's tape so that I can paint the sides. And now I'm going to remove my vinyl from my wood. I use a sanding block to distress the edges and lightly sand over the entire surface. You know how it is, I just want to get down to some of that raw wood, make it look like it's been around for 100 years. I'll apply my Fruitwood stain to each slat until I'm happy with the color, just like before. I think this Fruitwood stain is such a lovely rich color and really adds to this piece. I think it gives it a real vintage flavor. It's not as dark as some of the antique mediums. It's just almost like a coffee color, coffee with cream. I don't know, to me, I think it looks legit. Right, so I'm just going to finish this up. I'm breaking out my black wax again, and just like with the canvases, I'll add it first to the text and then to the rest of the wood. I use my large metal square to level and space my brace pieces. I'm going to attach both the top and bottom pieces with wood glue and hot glue. This is just to hold them in place temporarily. I find it easier to space out my other slats by doing it this way. Now that the top and bottom pieces are secure, I'm going to mark where I want my other slats to go. I'm using a white pencil to do this. I use the wood glue and the hot glue again to hold the slats in place for the moment. I'll flip the piece over and we're going to screw it together. First, I'm going to use my countersinker drill bit to create a divot. This will allow my screws to lay flush with the wood braces. This will kind of bore down into the wood, creating somewhat of a cone shape. Now I'll draw a pilot hole in the center of each of my countersunk divots. And I'll add my screws into the pilot holes. I'm using 1 1/4 inch wood screws for this. I've also drilled pilot holes in the top of my braces, and I'm going to add these eye screws so that I can attach a wire hanger. I used my needle nose pliers to attach the wire to my eye hooks. Now you know I like my rando hardware, and I'm going to use an old conduit strap. I think that's what it's called. I found this in my box of doodad hardware, and I'm going to screw it to the bottom here. There's already a hole here. Not sure the hole is exactly where it should be, but you know what? Close enough. Now this just isn't for decorative purposes, this will also be functional. I want to add this cool spray of flowers that I found in my stash. I'm going to use that conduit strap to hold the bottom in place, but that's not going to be enough to actually keep the flowers where I want them. Fortunately, there's also 2 holes in the middle of one of the boards, so I'm going to run a piece of wire through those holes and then through the flowers. Okay, see, here are the holes, so I'm going to push the wire through the hole, then through the flowers, and then through the other hole. I actually think this is better than gluing the flowers in place because this will allow me to switch them out, you know, according to the season. I'm just going to give the wire a quick twist in the back, keep it in place. Yep, and there we go. Done. Gonna love this on my front door. Here's a final look. I'm digging how these turned out. I hope you liked my take on Flower Palooza with my moody Art Deco flowers. I want to thank Annie for hosting. Please be sure to check out her channel. You'll find the links in the description box, as well as the link for the playlist. Please be sure to check out all the other creators in the collaboration. You'll find plenty of tips and inspiration. I've also linked Lisa of Our Grey House's channel below. If you want to check her out, tell her I sent you. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.